Hey, and welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'll be building my new entertainment/workstation PC, which will be replacing the aging LGA 1150 DDR3 system that I have been using for quite a while now. The cost of this new build is around $1,650 and will be my first Ryzen build ever. So let's jump into building this new PC here in 2023. So as always, before jumping right in, don't forget to smash that like button down below as it helps this video get on YouTube's algorithm, and also don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and ring that bell notification button so you're notified whenever I upload a new video. Also, if you have any questions or comments regarding this build, don't forget to leave them down in the comment section below. We can start a discussion or I can answer your questions. My social media is also linked down in the description below, which includes Instagram, Discord, and Twitter. And now let's jump right into this video. So firstly, I gotta point out that there will be less talking throughout this video and most of it will be just me assembling the new PC. And of course, before we jump into the build itself, let's go over all the parts that I'll be using and their respective prices. As for the processor, I chose the AMD Ryzen 9 7900X with 12 cores and 24 threads. It has a 4.7 GHz base clock and a 5.6 GHz boost clock and cost me around $439 with a bundled digital code for Star Wars The Jedi Survivor game, which I'll probably never play. I was gonna get the Ryzen 7 7800X 3D as it's considerably better for gaming at a similar price. However, with only 8 cores and 16 threads, it may not hold up as well on the long run as compared to the 7900X. The 7800X 3D also seems like somewhat of a one-trick pony in my opinion. For the motherboard, I went with the Gigabyte Aorus B650 Eite AX, which is an upper mid-range ATX size board and cost me $220. Cooling the Ryzen 9 will be done with a Cooler Master Master Liquid ML240L V2 White Edition, which cost me $100. And if you were wondering, the AM4 socket coolers work just fine with AM5 as the mounting system is exactly the same. Graphics will be handled by the old but still capable 2019 XFX AMD Radeon VII 16GB VRAM triple fan GPU. I got this card last year off OfferUp for a mere $56 in broken condition, and I managed to fix the card fairly easily, as you can see in the repair video, which I'll link in the card above to the right of the screen and in the description below as well. This saved me a bunch of money on this build, and this card should be good for about another year or two. These things average around $300 on eBay in used condition. As for RAM, I went with the Gskill Trident Z5 Neo RGB series 32GB dual channel set. It's clocked in at 6000 MHz and supports AMD EXPO as well. This set cost me $135. For solid state storage, I went with the Samsung 980 Pro M.2 1TB SSD, which cost me $110 on Black Friday last year. For mass hard drive storage, I chose the 2TB 7200 RPM Western Digital Blue drive, which cost me $50, and I also happen to have another brand new drive just lying around, which also cost me $50 last year. for a total of 4 TB of hard disk storage. Powering this entire build is the Corsair RMX series RM750x 750 watt fully modular power supply, which I got on Black Friday last year for $100. And finally, all of these parts will be sitting comfortably in this gorgeous Fractal North ATX mid-tower PC case, this particular one being the charcoal black with a walnut front panel and dark tinted tempered glass side panel. This case cost me $140. So finally, the total cost of this build comes up to $1,400 in reality, but the true value of this PC as a whole should be around $1,644, which accounts for the average cost of a used Radeon VII on the market today. So now with all that said, let's jump into building this PC. Alright, so first let's start off by prepping the case. I have an extra fan here from actually the old PC. This was one of the original NZXT fans that came with it, so I'll be using it temporarily in this build as well. But eventually, after a while, I'm going to swap out fans to eventually go with a different aesthetic fan and LED wise. But for now, this is going to be the general setup. Alright, so for the power supply, I've picked out exactly what I'm going to use in terms of cables. We have the SATA connector, or the SATA power supply connector over here. It's got 3 on there, but I only have 2 hard drives, and I'm not using an SSD, but there'll be an extra connector. Then we're using that, and then of course we have PCIe for the graphics card, the 8 total and a total of 16 pins at the end, and we have this side, it just goes straight into the power supply. And then of course we have CPU power. Where is that? It says CPU power somewhere here. This is CPU power. There we go. So CPU power, and of course motherboard power as well. So let's go ahead and get started by connecting these up and going from there. It is now time to prep the motherboard with the processor, RAM and M.2 SSD. So I got done putting the cooler in and doing all the wiring at the back and stuff, because that is always hit or miss regardless of how many times you've done it. I could have done a better job with this wire, maybe put the cooler up front here, but the way I want it is 2 intake, 3 exhausts. So 2 exhausts on the radiator here and 1 exhaust on this over here. And usually I never close the side of the computer, I keep it open, so there's always good ventilation regardless of how many fans are there or not. So I mean, this wire could have been a bit better if I turned this the other way, but it is what it is. Maybe I'll change it some other time. Moving on to the back of the computer, the cable management is, I'd say, okay. It's a bit of a mess down here. Maybe I'll clean it up someday a bit later, but I've got a few more things to do with this thing once I put the graphics card in. But that is as far as cable management goes. I did the wiring on the lights and all that stuff for the cooler as well. So now let's go ahead and put in the graphics card. So here is the Radeon 7, and like I mentioned earlier, if you are a regular on this channel, you probably already saw the repair video to this, which I did a few months ago, well, about, I don't know, 6-7 months ago, I can't remember, and I got it for a mere $56 or something like that. So that definitely helped with the pricing on this build, and this card should be good for about maybe another year or two. It's kind of under, how should I say, well, this system is a bit overkill for this card as it stands now in 2023, because this card is from 2019. However, that 16 gigs of VRAM definitely helps it in holding up well in 2023. So it's good for about another year or two, but I will eventually get something else as time goes on, when this thing actually starts showing age. But yeah, you can go ahead and watch the full repair video. I linked it in a card earlier. It's also down in the description below. So let me go ahead and actually put this in. I may have to actually remove another thingy here.
What does perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh, can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia? Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to see, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah. Oh, yeah, I've discussed it with myself, and I'm disgusted with the way we're told to have a certain face, a certain weight, because we aren't pixels on a screen. No, we're human, we breathe. Every single thing we see curated, it's overrated. These expectations, they keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to think, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah.
So finally, we have come to the end of this build, and the software part of this build will take a few days to complete as I have loads of things to transfer over from my old PC and of course download all the programs I need. So as usual, don't forget to smash that like button if you honestly like this video, and also don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and ring that bell notification button so you're notified whenever I upload a new video. Also, if you have any questions or comments, don't forget to leave them down in the comment section below. We can start a discussion or I can answer your questions. My social media is also linked down in the description below, which includes Instagram, Discord, and Twitter. Thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next video.